Hello to everyone in the small business world. Remember, never give up on your business. Great things take time. This is Joe from the Small Business Store. Our products and services are hosted at $5signs.com. I'm having to use a new recording software today because the one I was using had lapsed and I renewed, and they're saying it's a 6-hour wait to be able to reuse it again or to be able to start using it again. So, before we begin, I just wanted to give myself a plug. If you have any need for graphic design, yard signs, banners, decals, business cards, brochures, flyers, postcards, mailers, door hangers, magnets, social media ad design, apparel, anything of that nature, please give us a look over. Our prices are very great. Our quality is even better. And a special thing about us is that we have very low minimum order requests. What we're pushing right now is we have a deal on our 24 by 18 signs. You can get 1 or 2-sided. You can get 10 one-sided signs with stands and free design for $60 plus $14 shipping. Even if you ordered, if you can see real tiny here, it says like 40 or 50. Get 50 for $230, and that's still only $14 shipping. If you go with 2-sided, it is $85 for 10. That includes the stands and free design, and once again, shipping is $14. So if you head on over to $5signs.com, click on the sign deals. That'll take you right to the product page. And as you can see, it's a very simple process to place an order. You choose your quantity. You tell us what you want on your signs. If you have a logo or other files, you can upload them here from your computer. You type in how many you want. And this would be how many sets of 10. So if you wanted 20, you would put in 2, because that would be 2 sets of 10. And then you simply add it to the bag. Okay. All right. That's enough for that right now. Today, what I wanted to go over is I wanted to talk about logos. There's many aspects of logos that we need to look at because most small business owners don't do logos correctly. They receive a lot of bad information. They receive a lot of hype. And I'm here to help set the record straight. I do not conform with popular opinion. I go against the grain. I tell you the way I believe it. You can disagree and move on, or you can take it as wise advice. Now, the first thing that I want to say is that logos are not as important as everybody tells you they are. Okay, and right off the bat, you're thinking, okay, this guy does not know what he's talking about. Well, I'm going to tell you why I do. Okay, the first thing you need to realize is that people are in search of services. Okay, they're not in search of nice looking logos. So 99% of the people that are going to be looking for a good or a service are going to either ask their friends or they're going to search on Google, and some are going to recognize brand names, okay? But that doesn't necessarily have to do with the logo, okay? We're looking at a bunch of logos here on the screen, and we can recognize, obviously, this is Starbucks. They don't even have to have their name there. We just know that it is. But let me ask you this, okay? Looking at this Starbucks logo, is that a good logo or is it not? It doesn't say Starbucks on it. So how do you know that it's Starbucks? Well, because for the last 20 years, they've put the Starbucks name with that. And they've plastered it everywhere so much that you've just naturally come to associate that design with the name of Starbucks. It has nothing to do with how effective this plain white chick with fins or whatever it is and a crown is to promoting the name Starbucks. All right. Tide. Tide uses their name in their logo. I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that really what we want to do is we want to get people to remember our name. All right. So something like this, sure, a multi-billion dollar company can do that because they've plastered their logo everywhere for so long with their name on it that everybody knows what it is. It's the same way with the Nike symbol. You don't need it to say Nike, it can just be the symbol. But I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that most of us don't have $1 billion and 20 years to spend to grow our logo. See with the Apple, they can just use the icon. Yeah, because they've spent millions and millions of dollars promoting it. Okay, but look at how simple these logos are. Okay, long time, very well established, well-known logos like Tide, NBC News. Okay, Baskin Robbins. Look at, Lego. Look at how basic Lego is. Guys, why is it that you think that you have to have this confusing, like this here fitness center? Okay, that's not too bad. I mean, it's a bull, and he's holding up weights, and it says what it is fitness center. But where's the name? I have to believe this isn't an actual logo. This is probably something that a graphic design website is trying to sell someone to put their name on it. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is, look at Milwaukee Bucks, Pirate Hockey. Come on, look. These are multi-million dollar companies, and look at how simple they're doing their logos. Okay, and then you got something funky like this. I don't know, it's a Russian or whatever. What the heck is that? Okay, I want to know your name so I know who to call when I need your service. I don't need to see like, a tiger pulling on a bunch of weeds with a lawnmower behind him and a sun setting and all this confusion in your logo in order for me to recognize who you are. It's very simple. I mean, like SK bankrupt. But we all know what that is, right? That's a play on Toys R Us. And look how simple their logo is. It's just their name. HBO. I mean, come on. Tell me that HBO is ineffective, that's an ineffective logo. The only thing unique about their logo is that they put a blue center in the O. Besides that, it's very boring. HBO. Simple sans serif font. Okay? The first thing we got to get over is this ego issue, this pride issue of, I have to have the slickest looking logo. Okay, great. Have the slickest looking logo and then run a terrible business, and you'll be out of business in a year. Your logo is not going to save you. If you do good business, that's what's going to save you. It's not going to be your logo. All your logo is there for is for people to know your name so that they can look you up later. Now, what's the easiest way to do that? How about by simply telling them your name and not confusing it with all the other crap that people build into logos? Okay, let me see if I can get, let me just see why'd that go backwards? Let me just see if I can get, why are you not typing? Okay, bad logos. Let's see what the search engine or other people think. Okay, that's a lie right there. Fanta, that is not a bad logo. Okay, Pepsi, not a bad logo. Yes, this is bad because you can't even read what it is. Wendy's, at least Wendy's is big, but they are a bit complicated. It's overdone. See, I don't know. Breaking Bad. Why is that a bad logo? I guess, here's the thing. Pizza Hut, that's not bad. The tendency is anybody who's in an industry thinks that what they do is the most important thing in the world, and they nitpick. So I would believe that there's a lot of graphic designers that do logos that, now here's a really bad one. There's a lot of graphic designers out there who probably, because it doesn't look all whiz bang, consider it to be a bad logo. But look at this. This is just, you know, okay, if I look at it long enough, I get it. Bad and okay, that's supposed to be a G. Bad and Good Grill. They've got a pitchfork and a halo as a spoon. Wow. That's real creative. But you know what? From a distance, I can't read your name. I don't know what that says. That's not going to do me any good when I'm looking for a place to eat. If I'm driving down the street, I can't read your name. I can see Pizza Hut. I can see McDonald's. I can see Burger King. Too boring for you? Get over it. It's not about your ego and what you think looks slick. It's about having a logo that tells people what your name is so that they can contact you. All right? Good logos. Well, there you go. McDonald's, Under Armour, FedEx, NBC, Nike, Coca-Cola, Target, Toyota. Look at how simplistic these are. Granted, what the heck is that? I don't know. It has nothing to do with a car, but it's easy to read. So if you have this big sign out in front of a dealership that says Toyota, guarantee you after a while people are going to say, oh, those must be Toyota cars. Okay. Goodyear's got a very simple logo. It's not overly complex. Maybe I should type in complex logos. Okay, while we're doing this, and I'm bashing people's accepted mindset of what a good logo is, we're going to be talking about fixing bad logos. And I don't mean bad as in the design. I mean it low quality so that you can actually use them. I receive logos from customers that we need to blow up into like a 4-foot by 12-foot decal. And they send me a logo that's about 400 pixels wide. Now, just for those of you who don't understand, if you're printing things like brochures or mailers, those are usually printed at 300 dots per inch. Okay. So if someone sends me a logo that's 300 pixels wide or 300 dots wide, that means that printed at scale, it would be 1 inch wide. It would print nicely if it was 1 inch big. So imagine me having to blow it up into like 8 feet wide. Gonna get a little blurry and pixelated, isn't it? So that's a bad quality logo. And we're gonna go over how you can fix that. And you can fix it rather inexpensively. And it's not through me, it's through someone else that I'm gonna recommend to you. Okay? But stuff like this is just yeah, wow, hey, ooh, that looks pretty. It incorporates all this stuff. But at the expense of making the name so small that you really can't tell what it is. Wait, what was that other one? I couldn't even figure. Okay, well, it's a different whatever. I don't know what that's supposed to be. But I see some of the logos that you guys are paying $500 for. And it's just to stroke your ego because, ooh, I want a shark or I want a lion or I want a bear. Well, if you're Kellogg's and Tony the Tiger and you've got 50 years to get people associated with the tiger that you want to have on your logo, that's great. And then even then they might just think, oh, yeah, it's that Tiger company. But do they know your name? Do they know that Tony the Tiger? Do they know that Tony the Tiger is associated with Frosted Flakes? What does a tiger have to do with Frosted Flakes? You're just causing yourself to have to spend more money and time to get it through people's head that the tiger you have in your logo is associated with lawn care, okay? This is simple stuff, guys. This is not even 101 marketing. This is like kindergarten marketing. But the unfortunate thing is too many people buy into these people who are out there selling logos for $500, and they've got to try to justify why you need to spend $500. And I will often tell people, hey, if you can get your logo to communicate to people what you do, fantastic, but don't do it at the expense of overshadowing your name, because your name is what they need to have. They can't see your truck with your logo. They're going to remember a picture before they remember a name. So how are people going to go on Google and say, yeah, that lawn company with a turtle? Okay, it's just not going to work out. I have a logo that says the small business store, and it's inside a box. Okay, if you want to try and interpret what that means, that box might be a banner. All right, but it's not. It's just an easy way for me to communicate to people that when they see a website that has the small business store on it, that they know it's the small business store. Okay, I don't need to have some super overly creative and complex logo that's going to try and incorporate a yard sign and decals or a business card and just totally throw people off looking at the images and totally forgetting to remember my name. All right, your name is what people need to know. So for those of you who are starting out and you're looking for logo design, number one, don't think that your logo has to be all that. All right. It doesn't have to blow people away. You can hate your logo. It doesn't matter. What matters is it going to be successful in getting your money? Would you rather make money or would you rather stroke your ego and say, I have such a cool ass logo? Okay, that's what you have to decide for yourself. You want the slick logo? Go for it. But I guarantee you, if it's too complex and it doesn't give you the exposure on your name, then people are not going to know who to call when they see a decal on your truck or a magnet. All right. So that's point number one. Point number two, let's go back to what I was saying. I was going to tell you guys about bad artwork. Okay. Oh, I really hate touchpads on PCs or on laptops. Okay, so low quality logos. Let's see if all right. Okay, now look. They're using, okay, here's a good, oh, there's a go. They got Vector and Original. Okay, just to explain to you really quickly, you look at this Burger King logo and you see that it's made of solid colors. You've got the blue partial circle, you've got the text in red, you've got the orange bun. They're solid colors. This is created or can be set up in what's called a vector format. Essentially what it is the computer creates lines and then it fills it with color so that when you expand the size of the logo, the computer can extrapolate, okay, this line just needs to be made bigger and these areas just need to be filled in with more of this color. What you're looking at here on the left where it says original, that's what's called a raster file. It's like a photograph. You can't take a photograph and blow it up infinitely and not expect it to pixelate because it was not created using lines and blocks of color. So the computer has no idea what areas are supposed to be filled in with what color. It just kind of starts pixelating and adding an alias around the edge to try and make it look smoother, but it's not going to get the job done. If you had a buddy or yourself and you said, hey, I'm not going to pay, $50 to have a logo designed, which really honestly is all you should be paying. Then you're going to end up using a cheap piece of software that doesn't have vector capability, and you're going to end up having a logo that you can't use if you want to put on bigger things like yard signs and decals. Okay, it might be good enough to put on a business card or a brochure, but if you want to get onto bigger like magnets, flags, banners, you're going to have a really hard time. And then you want to talk, if you believe your logo is important to customers, well, how bad do you think that looks when you have this blurry pixelated logo? Okay, I'm going to say that that's going to do you more harm having this blurry pixelated logo than having a logo that supposedly looks boring that you hate. Okay, so how do you fix this? Well, there's this company I've been using for about a decade, And they used to just be an email, and they finally got a website. Now they're called Fix Bad Art. You go to fixbadart.com, you give them your email address, and you tell them, add your instructions, say, hey, look, I have a really crappy small resolution logo. I need you to convert it into a vector file. And it's not as easy as you think. There might be people who tell you, oh, I can do that for you, but you know what? They can't as good as these guys. Basically, what you do is you click on this, you go into your computer, and this ironically just popped up a company that we had Fix Bad Art fix for us. Two twins in a truck. It's a moving company. They had a logo. It was really small quality. And you can see, if you look on the screen there really close, it says the dimensions are 578 pixels by 612. All right, so if we're printing at 300 dots per inch, that comes out to just under a 2-inch by 2-inch print file if you want it to print crisp. So I mean, we're talking smaller than the size of a business card. And this guy wants like 4-foot decals. Excuse me. So what was I supposed to do? I went to Fix Bad Art. I dragged and dropped the file here. I said the service I want is image vectoration. The output that I want is AI and maybe, also a PDF, but AI is a vector file. And then you tell them how you plan on using this logo, because you need a vector file if you want to do screen print or cut vinyl. And digital printing allows you to expand the size of the logo without losing any quality. So you click this, request a free quote. They typically get back to you in less than an hour. And the quote ranges anywhere from like $9 up to $35, depending on how complex your artwork is. Okay, like that two twins in a truck was $14.50. I had another one yesterday that was very complex. It had some gradients, a lot of different colors. It had like a little fairy in it. It's for like a bouncy house. That one ended up being $33. But geez, oh Pete, I mean, even if it was $100 to get a good quality copy of your logo that can expand without losing quality, that you can send to a screen printer like me, or you can send out for digital printing and have blown up on a decal, this is definitely a service you want to keep bookmarked if you have what you think is a bad logo. I know a lot of you guys might have been in business for 15 years, and so you've got a logo that was created back in Microsoft Word. It's a piece of crap. It can't print any bigger than maybe a postage stamp without getting blurry. This is where you want to go to fix that, because if you've been using that as your brand for 15 years, you don't want to change it. This is a service that you can use to get a high resolution copy of it that'll look almost identical to the original. And it's only going to cost you, like I said, anywhere from 10 to 30 bucks. So this is definitely where I would send you. It's fixbadart.com. And remember that. Now, going back to this really quick, a lot of people, when I tell them, like, well, you have a low quality resolution logo and I can't use it to design anything that you want because it's going to be too big. And so what they do is they say, oh, okay, well, I'll fix it. I'll get it back to you. And all they do is they go back into Publisher or Microsoft Word or whatever cheap software they're using. They slap it in there, not realizing that all it is a raster file, like a photograph, and they blow it up and then they save it thinking, oh, now it's a bigger version. But what they don't realize is all they're doing is they're pixelating it. So when I get it, it's the same exact file they sent me before, but it's just blown up. So you cannot vectorize your own files, okay? I'm just telling you that now. Unless you own Adobe Illustrator and you know how to professionally use the tracing program, you are not going to be able to do this. Now, from what I understand, those Fix Bad Art people, they not only use a combination of tracing, they also use a combination of hand artwork, where they'll take your logo, they'll blow it up on a projector onto a wall, and they'll stand there and they will hand trace, and then they'll scan in and trace and fix it. That's why they are able to get it so close to the original. All right. So look, we went over two things today. We talked about what a logo really should do. A logo is only there to help people remember your name. Okay. So, like again, look at Tide. All you got to do, if you have a lawn care business, you put your logo, and let's say you take the Tide logo and you make it yellow and green instead of orange and green or yellow. And instead of saying Tide, you put uh, Grass King or whatever. Okay. It doesn't matter. You're going to put it on your truck, which maybe you're going to put a few more decals or details on the truck that indicate that you do lawn care. Or maybe even on the logo, you could have like a patch of grass going across the bottom, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be complex. I'm just telling you, it doesn't have to be complex. Now, you can be too simple where you just take a super, super simple font like take NBC News, okay? Let's pretend that you got rid of the peacock and you just had your name in plain white in just regular letters and you put Grass King Lawn Care. All right? That's going to tell people who you are, but it's not going to be memorable. All right. I'm not discounting being memorable. What I'm discounting is having too complex of a logo that strokes your ego, that's going to not communicate to people what your name is. Because a lot of these complex logos have a tendency to cause the logo to become too small in terms of the name of your company. All right. I couldn't find a lot of examples here that I'd want to use. Let me try one more time. I'm going to go with overcomplicated logos. Yeah, that's about stupid. Thanks a lot, Bing. How an overcomplicated logo is the MLB logo. Wow, yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. All right, so I'm not getting too much luck here on having maybe some of these down here. These look okay. What is it? Americans Rochester Youth Hockey. Okay. Now see, look at they've even. Well, I think this is something that the graphic designer put as a reflection just to make it look neat. But I mean, come on, you're using. I guess it's not bad if you're using script if it's readable, but you put this shield behind it that makes it hard to read, and then you take the Rochester Youth Hockey and you use this feature on it effect that kind of twists it and makes it hard to read. The heck is it? Remax Lions Flight for Sight? And then that's just horrible. What is that back there? A little bus or a house? Okay. And then we've got a shield here. Illinois College of Optometry. Well, that's going to be expected. They want fancy. But then here, what is it? Celebrating 100 years of beauty. Marunello. Okay. You can see what I'm saying here. It would be one thing. What is this? Years of beauty. Okay, so what do they sell? Makeup? Do they do a hair salon? Is it like cosmetic surgery? Is it like, photography with touch up? I don't know what the heck they do. Then they put their name in a script that's kind of hard to read and they clutter it with all this other junk up here. Now, I'm sure this is just maybe a 1-year anniversary special logo that they're using with the 100. But I mean, come on. This is just. This stuff is just so complex. Okay, Mr. Laptop, I'm clicking these and it's not giving me. Oh. Okay. Do you get my point yet? Have I come across? So look, logos. What is the purpose? Everything has a purpose. A business card has a purpose. A business card isn't meant to be like a wowza design made out of a metal piece of sheet metal that's engraved and whatever. A business card is simply you're already interacting with someone. They just need your contact info. Okay? That's all there is to it. You can make it look slick, but just make sure that the contact info is easy to read because that's the purpose of a business card. Okay? It's not to win an award in all of the United States for what small business had the best looking and business card that popped. Okay, it's a communication device. Same goes with your logo. It's a communication device. It's not an art contest to try and outdo everyone else in your market to say, oh, wow, look how slick that logo is. Again, one thing that's probably going to happen is people might remember whatever character or icon or swirls or whatever imagery you have on the logo. They're going to look at that first, so it's going to overshadow your name. There's a good chance if you're in traffic and you drive by someone and they get a glimpse, they're only going to see the artistic side of it. They're not going to have time then to stop looking at the pretty things and then read your name. So you're going to lose an opportunity. So get over the ego and have a logo that's going to communicate your name to people, not a fuzzy bear or a duck or a swirly Q or I don't know, whatever other things people think look cool. You can have some of it, but don't overdo it. Don't let it overshadow your name. And the second thing is make sure that your logo is based in a vector file. Nowadays, most people who go and they have logos done, you're good. You're getting a vector file. Others of you that are starting businesses that think, hey, I can design my own logo. Well, maybe you can if you keep it simple, but you probably don't have the software that's going to allow you to create a vector file. Okay? That's a lesson for today. That's the purpose of logos. It's the way you should do logos. And it's the issue of quality for printers like me that we need to have the right files in order to create the best printed products for you. So once again, I don't design logos. I hate it. I used to do it. I go off and on. I get people and say, hey, can you do a logo? And every once in a while I get weak-kneed and I feel sorry for someone. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll do a logo for you. But the reason why I stopped is because I couldn't get people to listen. They have egos. They're like, no, 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 I wanted the dolphin to look like this. And I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't please you because I'm coming at this from a marketing standpoint, not from a whiz-bang, impress me standpoint, okay? I understand it's your business. I understand you want everyone to think you're cool, but once again, it's your name they need to remember. So look, up here, the small business store, it's branded now. I've been using it for a decade. I've got little holes punched in the corners to represent grommets for this being a banner. That's about as unique as I got because I don't want to overshadow the fact that my name is the small business store. That's what I want people to remember, okay? And that should be what your priority is as well. I'm going to try and be back with some more videos. I have not made any in quite a while. As many of you know, I had some health issues. I was in and out of the hospital twice in May. We had a lot of orders that got backed up. I'm not proud of that. We had some customers that asked for refunds. We gave them to them right away. That's understandable because we had so many delays, but that's not going to prohibit us from being able to move forward now that I'm doing better and get your designs and your printed products to you. We're not the fastest company. We're two people. I have a business partner, Elise. We're not Vistaprint. We're not these chop shops that don't care about what your message is. They'll just print whatever you send them. Our game is not how fast we can do things for you. Our game is how right we can do things for you and how often we can be here to answer questions you have or to help give you guidance, plus to give you just some amazing deals, okay? So once again, this is Joe Spohr with a small business store. Never give up on your business because great things take time. And that's one of the truths of business, that you need to spend time, slowly grow your business, and brand your logo. Make sure it's a logo that can be branded, okay? I'm going to try and sign off. This is a new piece of software. Hopefully everything went well. Hopefully this was some good advice you could keep. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment under. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. I'd like to try and get this channel built up because I think there's so many small businesses that are missing out on this really nonconformist, relative, but smart, streetwise advice. Okay. So, hey, go out and have a great business day. If you have any questions on products, you can always message me personally. Send us an email at orders@thesmallbusinessstore.net. You can find that information on our About Us page. Ignore the phone number. You can use the text number and our email, or you can submit this form right here to get a hold of me. Okay. Peace out to everyone. Have a great weekend. This is Joe signing off.